Number 50. Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. Canada contains over 2 million lakes, more than all other countries on Earth added together. These lakes cover about 9% of Canada's total land area. Ontario alone has over 250,000 lakes, more than most countries have in their entirety. The sheer number is so staggering that most Canadian lakes don't even have names. The glaciers that carved Canada during the Ice Age left behind this absurd abundance of freshwater. Number 49. Canada's coastline is longer than Earth's circumference at the equator. Canada's coastline measures 202,080 kilometers, longer than the 40,075-kilometer equatorial circumference. The coastline is so convoluted and island-riddled that measuring it precisely is nearly impossible. Canada touches 3 oceans: Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic, creating endless coastal complexity. If you walked Canada's entire coastline, you'd travel farther than circling the globe at its widest point. Number 48. Canada is the second largest country but has fewer people than California. Canada spans 9.98 million square kilometers, second only to Russia. Yet Canada's entire population of 38 million is less than California's 39 million. Canada has a population density of 4 people per square kilometer, one of the lowest on Earth. Most Canadians live within 100 miles of the US border, leaving vast northern territories essentially empty. Number 47. Canada has a desert that gets less rain than parts of the Sahara. The Osoyoos Desert in British Columbia receives only 250 to 300 millimeters of rain annually. This pocket desert contains cacti, rattlesnakes, and scorpions in a country known for ice and snow. The desert exists in a rain shadow created by the coast mountains blocking Pacific moisture. Most people assume Canada is uniformly cold and wet when it actually has legitimate desert. Number 46. The Bay of Fundy has the highest tides in the world. Bay of Fundy tides reach 16 meters, the highest tidal range on Earth. Twice daily, 160 billion tons of water flow in and out of the bay, more than the combined flow of all the world's freshwater rivers. At low tide, the ocean floor is exposed for miles. The tidal force is so powerful, it's being harnessed for renewable energy. Number 45. The Canadian Arctic archipelago contains 94 islands, larger than 130 square kilometers. Canada's northern islands form the world's largest Arctic archipelago. Baffin Island alone is larger than Spain. These islands are so isolated that some have never been fully explored. The Northwest Passage winds through this maze of islands, a route that killed countless explorers. Number 44. Canada's Hudson Bay is slowly rising out of the ocean. Hudson Bay is experiencing isostatic rebound, where land compressed by glaciers is slowly rising. The bay rises about 1 meter per century as the Earth's crust bounces back. In thousands of years, Hudson Bay will become dry land. Canada contains geography that's actively transforming as the planet recovers from the Ice Age. Number 43. Canada has a rainforest that receives over 4 meters of rain annually. The Great Bear Rainforest in British Columbia is one of the world's largest temperate rainforests. Some areas receive over 4,000 millimeters of rain per year, rivaling tropical rainforests. This coastal rainforest contains 1,000-year-old trees and supports the rare white spirit bear. Number 42. Alert. Nunavut is the northernmost permanently inhabited place on Earth. Alert sits just 817 kilometers from the North Pole. The military and weather station has about 60 people. Alert experiences 24-hour darkness for months in winter and 24-hour daylight in summer. The average temperature is -18 degrees Celsius. Alert represents the absolute limit of permanent human habitation. Number 41. Canada has more than 10% of the world's forests. Canada contains 347 million hectares of forest, about 10% of global forest cover. The boreal forest stretches across Canada in the largest intact forest ecosystem on Earth. This forest produces more oxygen than the Amazon rainforest despite being less famous. Canada's forests store more carbon than the Amazon. Number 40. The magnetic North Pole is in Canada and moving toward Russia. The magnetic North Pole is currently in the Canadian Arctic, but drifting toward Siberia at 50 to 60 kilometers per year. The pole has moved over 2,300 kilometers since first located in 1831. This drift is accelerating. The magnetic North Pole won't be in Canada much longer if current trends continue. Number 39. Canada's Northwest Territories contains over 75% freshwater lakes. The Northwest Territories is more water than land, with lakes covering 3/4 of its surface. Great Slave Lake is the 10th largest lake in the world and deepest in North America at 614 meters. Traveling by boat is often easier than traveling by land in summer. Number 38. Canada has a tundra larger than India. The Canadian tundra covers over 3 million square kilometers, exceeding India's total area. This treeless landscape supports unique wildlife adapted to extreme cold. The tundra represents one of Earth's last great wildernesses. Canada's tundra is bigger than most countries. Number 37. The Great Lakes contain 21% of the world's fresh surface water, and Canada shares them. Canada owns the northern shores of 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. These lakes hold 6 quadrillion gallons of water. Lake Superior is so large it could flood all of North and South America to 1 foot deep. Canada's share of the Great Lakes makes it a freshwater superpower. Number 36. Canada's Nahanni National Park has a waterfall twice Niagara's height. Virginia Falls drops 96 meters, nearly twice Niagara's 51-meter drop. The falls sits in one of Canada's most remote national parks. The Nahanni River cuts through canyons 1,000 meters deep, creating landscapes rivaling the Grand Canyon. Number 35. Canada has more polar bears than people in some regions. Churchill, Manitoba is the polar bear capital of the world, where bears outnumber residents seasonally. 2/3 of the world's polar bears live in Canadian territory. Some northern communities have polar bear alerts warning residents. Number 34. The Canadian Shield is 4.5 billion years old. The Canadian Shield contains some of Earth's oldest rocks. This ancient bedrock covers nearly half of Canada's land area. The Shield's exposed rock shows what Earth looked like billions of years ago. Canada literally contains the planet's foundation exposed at the surface. Number 33. Canada's longest river is the Mackenzie at 4,241 kilometers. The Mackenzie River flows from Great Slave Lake to the Arctic Ocean. The river is frozen solid for 8 months each year. The river's delta creates a wetland the size of Belgium. Number 32. Canada has over 30,000 islands in Georgian Bay alone. Georgian Bay on Lake Huron contains more islands than most countries have in total. The islands were formed by glacial action. Georgian Bay proves that Canada's island count is almost impossible to verify. Number 31. The Canadian prairies experience temperature swings of 100 degrees Celsius annually. Prairie regions can reach 40 degrees Celsius in summer and drop to -60 degrees Celsius in winter. This 100-degree temperature range is among Earth's most extreme. Canada's interior experiences temperature extremes that rival anywhere on Earth. Number 30. Canada's Athabasca oil sands contain 166 billion barrels of recoverable oil. The oil sands in Alberta hold the world's 3rd largest oil reserves after Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. These reserves underlie an area the size of Florida. Canada's northern Alberta contains energy resources that shape global oil markets. Number 29. Canada has the world's longest skating rink on the Rideau Canal. The Rideau Canal in Ottawa becomes a 7.8-kilometer skating rink each winter, the world's longest naturally frozen skating surface. Thousands skate to work through downtown Ottawa. This natural skating rink is longer than most countries' famous landmarks. Number 28. Canada's Bay of Fundy creates mini tsunamis twice daily. The tidal bore creates waves up to 2 meters high that surge up rivers against the current. The bore attracts surfers who ride these waves kilometers inland. Local rivers actually flow backward twice daily when the tidal bore arrives. Number 27. Canada is recovering glacial ice lost 10,000 years ago through isostatic rebound. Much of Canada is rising as the Earth's crust rebounds from Ice Age glaciers. Ancient shorelines now sit hundreds of meters above current sea level. The land is literally lifting itself higher every year. Number 26. Canada has a valley with the highest concentration of dinosaur fossils on Earth. Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta has yielded more dinosaur species than any other location. Over 500 specimens from 40 species have been discovered in this small area. This single valley has rewritten what we know about dinosaur evolution. Number 25. Canada's Columbia Icefield feeds water to 3 oceans. The Athabasca Glacier drains to the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic Oceans. Water from this single ice mass ends up in 3 different oceans, thousands of kilometers apart. This hydrological triple point is one of only 2 in the world. Number 24. Canada has more fresh water than any country except Brazil. Canada holds 20% of the world's freshwater supply. Only Brazil's Amazon basin contains more fresh water. Canada's water resources exceed most continents' total supplies. Freshwater will define 21st century geopolitics, and Canada is the Saudi Arabia of water. Number 23. The Northwest Passage through Canadian Arctic was the holy grail of exploration. For 400 years, explorers died trying to find a northern route through Canada's Arctic islands. The passage claimed dozens of expeditions, including the famous Franklin expedition. Climate change is now opening the passage to regular shipping for the first time. Number 22. Canada contains the world's largest protected boreal forest. Canada has protected massive sections of boreal forest, creating conservation areas larger than many countries. The boreal forest stores more carbon per hectare than tropical rainforests because of deep peat deposits. Number 21. Canada's Burgess Shale contains some of Earth's best preserved Cambrian fossils. The Burgess Shale preserves soft-bodied organisms from 500 million years ago. These fossils show the Cambrian explosion when complex life rapidly diversified. This single fossil site changed how we understand evolution. Number 20. Canada's Northern Territories have 24-hour daylight in summer and darkness in winter. North of the Arctic Circle, the sun doesn't set for months in summer or rise for months in winter. Canadian geography includes regions where normal day-night cycles don't exist for months. Number 19. Canada's Nahanni River cuts through mountains, creating canyons 1,000 meters deep. The Nahanni carves through the Mackenzie Mountains, creating some of North America's deepest canyons. The canyons rival the Grand Canyon in depth, but remain largely unknown due to remoteness. Number 18. Canada has a grassland preserve larger than Belgium. Grasslands National Park in Saskatchewan protects one of North America's last intact prairie ecosystems. This single protected area is larger than entire European countries. Number 17. Canada's Great Bear Lake is entirely above the Arctic Circle. Great Bear Lake is the largest lake completely north of the Arctic Circle. The lake covers 31,000 square kilometers and is frozen solid for 8 months annually. Number 16. Canada's Wood Buffalo National Park is larger than Switzerland. The park spans 44,807 square kilometers. Wood buffalo protects the world's largest free-roaming bison herd. The park is larger than 70 countries. Number 15. Canada has permafrost covering 50% of its land area. Half of Canada sits on permanently frozen ground, extending hundreds of meters deep. Climate change is thawing permafrost, causing ground collapse and releasing greenhouse gases. Number 14. Canada's Queen Charlotte Islands have species found nowhere else. Haida Gwaii was a glacial refugium where species survived the Ice Age. The islands have unique subspecies of bears, deer, and birds that evolved in isolation. Number 13. Canada's Athabasca Glacier advances and retreats measurably each year. The glacier has retreated 1.5 kilometers since 1844 and continues shrinking. The glacier loses 5 meters of thickness annually due to climate change. Number 12. Canada contains half of the world's natural lakes larger than 3 square kilometers. Canada has 561 lakes, larger than 3 square kilometers out of roughly 1,000 globally. No other nation approaches Canada's large lake density. Number 11. Canada's Arctic watching season allows viewing all 3 North American bear species. Churchill, Manitoba is the only place where you can see polar, black, and grizzly bears in the wild in the same region. Number 10. Canada's Niagara Falls erodes backward at 1 meter per year. The falls have retreated 11 kilometers from their original position over 12,000 years. Niagara Falls is a temporary geographic feature that's actively disappearing. Number 9. Canada has the most complex coastline on Earth. Canada's coastline is so convoluted with inlets, islands, and fjords that its exact length remains disputed. Some estimates put Canada's coastline at over 240,000 kilometers when including every inlet. Number 8. Canada's avalanche control teams deliberately trigger avalanches for safety. Highway mountain passes use howitzers and explosives to trigger controlled avalanches. The avalanche control program fires thousands of shells annually into mountainsides. Canada militarized avalanche prevention. Number 7. Canada is disappearing as the North Magnetic Pole moves to Russia. The magnetic North Pole will leave Canadian territory within decades if current movement continues. Canada's magnetic geography is literally moving to another country. Number 6. Canada's James Bay hydroelectric project flooded an area the size of Lake Ontario. The project created reservoirs covering 11,000 square kilometers, fundamentally altering northern Quebec's geography. The artificial lakes are so large they appear on global maps. Number 5. Canada has a mountain that rises 20,000 feet from base to peak. Mount Logan in Yukon rises 5,959 meters, the tallest mountain in Canada and second highest in North America. The mountain's base-to-peak rise is among the largest on Earth. Number 4. Canada contains more ocean than land if you include its territorial waters. Canada's exclusive economic zone covers 5.4 million square kilometers of ocean. This ocean territory exceeds Canada's 3.8 million square kilometers of ice-free land. Number 3. Canada's geography contains every major ecosystem except tropical rainforest. Canada has tundra, boreal forest, temperate rainforest, grasslands, mountains, deserts, and coastal ecosystems. This ecosystem diversity in one country is unmatched globally. Number 2. Canada has 2 official time zones where almost nobody lives. The Newfoundland time zone is 30 minutes off from other zones, creating a unique half-hour offset. Additionally, some Saskatchewan areas don't observe daylight saving time, creating seasonal time confusion. Number 1. Canada will be the geography winner of climate change. As global temperatures rise, Canada's vast northern territories will become temperate and arable. The Northwest Passage will open permanently, creating new trade routes. Canada's freshwater resources will become the world's most valuable asset. Agriculture will expand northward into previously frozen territories. Climate change will devastate most countries, but geographically benefit Canada enormously. The nation positioned for Arctic warming and water scarcity will dominate the 21st century geopolitically. Canada's geography, currently constrained by cold, will become the planet's most valuable as climate shifts. The frozen wastelands will transform into the world's most desirable real estate and agricultural land. Which insane Canada geography fact shocked you most? Drop a comment and subscribe.